Alright, we're starting a new Sangha today. Thank you for joining. Om Bhur Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Om. Welcome everyone. Hello dear Ushabai. Hello James. Hello Luna. Hello Kukak. If I can pronounce your name better, please let me know. Hello dear Anna and Mike. Thank you for liking the live, dear James. Mira the best. I'm glad we got the best of the Miras here. Welcome Greg and Ash and Gabri Ann. How are you all? Hello dear Billy. Welcome Julius. I'm sure that no matter what you're facing in life right now, that you're allowed to be where you are, and that all the possibilities that are in your life moving forward are not going anywhere, as long as you're doing your best that you can, and I'm sure that's enough. Welcome the Ghoul Man, Gem Collection Jewelers. Hello the Tickler. I hope you all are as well as you can be, which I'm sure you are, because you are as well as you can be. This is the start of another Sangha. Recently I was streaming on another platform, which is why, as my regular viewers will know, I'm late today, but it was a successful experiment and I still had time to come here, so I look forward to being of service to you in any way I can. Hello dear Brandon and Tetsuo, Spider-Man. Hello dear Men Bayer and Zerikid, Dayton. If I can pronounce any of your lovely names better, please let me know. Call me Mary. Hello. Rosa Joy and One Cheeky Chick. Hi. You know, it's never expected that anyone says hi or comments, but usually I do have someone say hi by now. Many people are coming and going. I wonder if I've made a mistake and I've turned off the ability for people to express themselves. Just in case. I want to make sure. There's definitely no way for you to tell me if that's so. Oh no, it's working. Alright. You guys are just quiet today. That's quite alright. I wanted to make sure anyway. Hello Aaron. Hello Michelle. Daddy Monica. G to Infinity. 28k. And Dark. My day has been well. Thank you. How has your day been? Thank you for sharing the live, G. And thank you, Shelly, for your tiny and an ice cream cone. Jaya Sita Ram. And dear Babblefishy, thank you for your quartet of roses. Radhe Radhe. Dear Talon, you share your tummy hurts. That's the worst, isn't it? It can be. Tummy aches. Oh my goodness. Genuinely speaking, some of my lowest moments have been during tummy aches. So I really empathize with you. But it always passes. It's going good, shares Dark. I'm very happy to hear that. And thank you for sharing the live, dear Talon. And again, dear G. Thank you, Usha, for your hand hearts and dozen roses. Om Namah Shivaya. We got a big crowd here and I'm very happy to be here. In any way in which I can help out, allow me to set the intention as my role of being your servant. If there's anything you're going through, I don't claim to know all the answers, but I know that I'm a fellow human being and I know what it's like to go through hard times, and if there's any way in which I can extend a helping hand, it's just by listening, understanding, sharing my own experience, you know, that would be an honor. Thank you, dear Ragnhildr, for sharing the live too. Dark, you share that life is good when you have positivity. And I know what it's like to not have that, and you're absolutely right. The goodness must come from a flow of positivity, but you know what? It's difficult to be positive. You're absolutely right. The goodness must come from a flow of positivity, but you know what? It's difficult to be positive. Has disconnected. Maybe it wasn't the other platform, maybe it was my internet connection being a little challenging today. But as long as you are patient, then that's okay, and I thank you for being so. I assume my connection's back by now, but you can let me know. Thank you, dear G to Infinity. Hello, dear Julie. Welcome, Canadian Drucker. And thank you, Avant-Garde, for your rose. Radhe, Radhe. Again, I don't know who needs to hear it, but you're absolutely allowed to be in the position you are in life. And even if you tell yourself that, sometimes you just need someone else to say that, and I recognize that. It's not necessary for us to be affirmed, but in any way that I can mirror the absolute validity of what you're going through right now, please allow me the honor that is to affirm that you're totally okay to be where you are in life. Welcome, Billy. Now, speaking of hard times, dear Steph, you lost your cat this morning. You woke up and she was unresponsive. Sounds like she may have passed away peacefully. If you didn't wake up in the middle of the night to a calamity, you know, it was her time, and she chose to go when the household was still and silent, and she ran out of her 9 lives, I guess, off to gain another 9 wherever she is to be reincarnated in the universe. I'm very sorry to hear that though, dear Steph. Losing a cat is like losing a family member. And I think a lot of people are going through that now, which is interesting. I wonder what the universe is doing, preparing the cat souls for some purpose somewhere. But yeah, it's been a couple people in the past few days sharing something similar. So you're absolutely not alone in that. Much love your way, and may your furry little friend live on in other ways in your heart. You had a mushroom trip and you had become one with her. That's awesome. I love that. Well, she's very much alive then. She was very close to me. It sounds like you were a wonderful human to her. So thank you. She is so blessed to have had you in her life, and vice versa. Thank you, Tatvamasi, for the quintet of roses you sent too. This feels like home. Home is where the heart is, and I'm glad to share a part of your heart. Hare Krishna. Yeah, and thank you everyone who's also sending love to dear staff in chat. Always makes me happy to see such a lively, comforting community. Welcome, dear Marcia. Hello, dear Hexagon. Much love. Yeah. We can always work through the hard times, shares Dark. A good reminder. And sometimes hard times, you don't have to be strong through them, you know? I think a lot of people need to hear that. That in hard times it feels like you have to be strong. But you know what? Your resilience is not always dependent on strength. There are many ways to withstand things, and sometimes just allowing yourself to cry at times, to be vulnerable. You can get through a lot that way too. Welcome, dear Eric. Welcome, Tyler. Thank you, Ragnhildur, for your swan. That's very beautiful. All of a sudden, never expected. Om Kring Kali Kaye Namaha. Dear Ash, you share that you can't form connections with people you don't love. You don't love anyone. You feel guilty about it. No. That's how you're feeling right now, and that's okay. Sounds like maybe your love maybe has been taken advantage of in the past. This is just from my own experience of being in that state, and you've withdrawn from the world a little bit right now to focus on yourself, and that's okay. Maybe that resonates with you. You can tell me. And you don't have to feel guilty for being a butterfly or about to be a butterfly. Even if you feel like you're liquefying, just like the caterpillar builds a bit of a chrysalis and then bursts out, you know, that will change. Don't worry, it just takes some time. Oh, thank you for expressing your journey, dear Dark Bee. I'm sure many people can learn from your journey, myself included. That's why you deserve to share your voice with the world. And thank you, Scott, for your rose. Om Namah Shivaya. Dear Logan, you share that your childhood cat died within the last year, and trust you, it gets easier to deal with over time. Thank you for sharing that, Logan. Yeah, that's really important to hear. I also know what it's like to have a cat pass away. I've had a couple in my life do so, and yeah, strange things happen, and you heal and you grow and you feel like you connect with them in different ways. Anything is possible. Dear Billy, you shared last week you twisted your ankle. You went to the doctor today because it wasn't healing and it's fractured. Well, I'm very happy to hear that you thought to check it out or have someone check it out. Yeah, my goodness, you must be strong. Having a fractured ankle for over a week. Going, I don't need to go to the doctor. Quite incredible. I know some people have some very high pain tolerances. Child bearers especially. But it's good that you got that checked out. I wish you a speedy recovery. So I'm very grateful to be here with you all. Even if you're new here, thank you for being here. Bobo Dodo, you ask, what's the best thing to do when one feels lost? Find yourself. If you don't know where you are, don't worry about what's around you, what's within you. Get some clarity with the inner journey. And you'll find as soon as you do that, the world around you begins to reflect that too. If you feel lost, it's probably because you're looking in places where you're not to be found. Have you tried looking within? You might look in many books and ask many people and go to different classes and have people in your life tell you all sorts of things. But what if you went deep inside your own heart? What if you scoured through your own experiences? Meditate on what it means to be yourself? What if you put trust in the fact that your answers are not anywhere outside of you? Just be as you are. Find truth in that. And remember that not all those who wander are lost. How do you feel about that? Thank you for the follow, dear Sharon. It means a lot. And I really want to make sure that I thanked you for the rose, dear Scott, just in case I hadn't already. Allow me to do so again. Hari Om Tat Sat. I'm really happy that resonated with you, dear Hobododo. Much love. You got this. Now, a little birdie tells me that what's in this book is meaningful to many. I'd like to finish up the chapter that we started yesterday, and it's okay if you didn't hear the last part. You're allowed to be lost in the context. But I always upload these readings on my YouTube channel in case you ever do want to catch up. Anyway, I bet there's something in here for all of us. Let's see where we left off. Dear Sid was telling our protagonist about the qualifications for attaining the knowledge that brings about immortality. What a wild idea, but let's continue. He was saying, to say sorry, God must become sannyasi, must give up everything. The guide explained, oh, this is the guide, sorry, not Sid. And do tapasya, penance, must wear padukas, sandals, still sadhus are wearing, you must have seen. This book takes place in India, and there's a tradition of great saints, realized masters, wearing wooden sandals called padukas. Fun fact, they're not comfortable. I've tried. A wide terrace ran the length of the shrine and presented the promised panoramic view. The guide nodded in the direction of Sri Lanka, from where people fled daily. Arriving on the shore, shell-shocked and dazed, the lucky ones found their way inland to the growing settlement adjacent to my place of employment, the convent of the Sisters of the Poor. The guide then informed us with a certain pride that Sri Lanka, that self-same island, was the actual location of the great war of the ancient epic story called the Ramayana, which was an ancient mythological kind of holocaust that enveloped the planet, fought viciously to the last by gods, demons, humans, animals, and birds. Even the oceans and mountains were drawn in. A glorious world war to end all wars, one that would bring about everlasting peace and harmony. Now, thousands of years later, many world wars later, the fires of hell ravage that very place. I'm qualified to learn the secret, I said to Sid with authority as we stepped off the bus. I'm detached, calm, able to endure. I long for... I have to go, he said. We have 2 days left, I said. He was already walking away. A sudden flash of anger, followed by an unreasonable sorrow, came over me. I turned away, fighting off tears, embarrassed by this irrational rush of feeling. Ours was a chance encounter of little consequence. Why had I opened up to him, given him access? I turned around and entered the hotel gates. It was a little before noon, and the rush to the lunch buffet had begun. I needed a drink. Welcome, Eric. The buffet stretched far enough so that one end was barely visible from the other. Vegetarian cuisines from around the world, from mac and cheese to fried bitter gourd, were displayed like works of art, and chefs stood by to take special orders. I'm hungry. I heaped a plate with items I could not name or even recognize and picked a booth in a far corner. I shouldn't be talking about food or you're all going to leave the stream. make some food for yourself. Actually, that'd be a wonderful thing to do for yourself. If you get hungry, please do that. A pencil-thin girl in a starched white cotton sari with a narrowed blue border, a costume inspired no doubt by Mother Teresa, approached. "Madam, you like coffee, tea, lime juice, mango juice, papaya juice?" "I'd like a shot of bourbon," I wanted to say, but only smiled pleasantly, asked for a glass of water and sent her away. She did not go far, but hovered anxiously at a respectful distance. If only Sid had given me a chance, I reflected, I would have told him that I was trying desperately to fight my way out of my despair, my loneliness, my illness, my fear. Why didn't he wait to hear me out? Why did he brush me off? "Madam, you like?" My wait person had reappeared with an upside-down pineapple cake, an exact replica of my mother's Easter dessert. "Yes," I said, "why not? And a double espresso, please." She happily dashed off to do my bidding. "I was not prepared," he said, "not qualified. How would he know? Was I the crass Westerner who had come to the land of the Buddha to learn a little yoga, some meditation, so I could go back to my world of lattes and gym memberships and boast to my friends of my adventures? Who was he to judge me? What did I know about him? Nothing. I was to be calm, able to endure and long for immortality and freedom from suffering. Immortality, an excellent name for a designer drug or a high-end perfume. But who would want to live forever, to long for it, as for freedom from suffering? I called the registration desk and made an appointment for a full body massage and facial. But after putting away the upside-down pineapple cake and downing the double espresso, I cancelled my spa appointment and checked out. We'll pause our reading of Moksha Liberation there for now, just concluding our first chapter of the first part. I hope to have wet your whistle with many more chapters to come. Thank you for listening. Just a little itty-bitty reading today. I appreciate your patience now. My attention is returned on the comment section fully, and if there's anything in our hearts and minds that you wish to discuss, I'm all ears. Happy full moon, dear Billy and everyone. Welcome, Mira. Welcome, Carlos. Welcome, Kayla. Now let's transition from our Shravana to our Manana, all to do with processing our experiences. To start off our Manana, I have a question of the day for all of you, if you're interested. Today I ask of you, everyone, new and old, what is the value of fasting and other voluntary disciplines? Maybe you can speak from experience. Maybe you know someone in your life that does these things and they've told you about it. I'd love to hear from anyone and everyone. I don't think I've ever fasted for more than a day. I think I've just forgotten to eat food some days. Maybe you can relate. Some days go by and I go, wait a second, did I eat today? Usually I'm pretty good though. But yeah, when you voluntarily do it, when you consciously undergo it, why do we find that sentiment arise again and again, especially through spiritual tradition, through so many other reasons too? I want to hear from you. Billy, you share that Manana reminds you of the Muppet song. That's right. Manana. Do 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 do. Manana. Do 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 do. As you ask, how did I forget to eat? I guess I'm just so involved in something else that, you know, you're having so much fun that you just... It's like when you're not aware of that you need to go to the bathroom until it's almost too late. You go, oh my goodness. You can really lose yourself beyond the body, just as we did when we were children. I guess I'm once a child, always a child for me. I don't know, that's my excuse. Anyway. Hello, dear Sean Taylor. Tattvamasi, you share, for fasting, you feel much lighter. Your blood pressure is controlled and your breath isn't labored. Sounds like there's some physical benefits, but mostly you feel light. How interesting. What do you like about lightness, that feeling of being unburdened by either the physical weight of the food in our tummy or the weight of being fatigued by all the energy in digestion? Would you expand on that? If you want, of course. Dear Sovereign Sycophant, you share that anything that can be consumed affects our frequency. And you've done a 6-day fast before. The power, the clarity, and the alignment can't be achieved any other way. Wow. That sounds pretty cool. I like that. Dear Dark, you share, you have a very old friend that fasted for a day and eats at night. That sounds like Ramadan, the Muslim practice of a month of eating only after the sun sets and before it rises. Hello, dear Lisa. Welcome, Joseph, and thank you for liking the live, Jessica. Never expected, as with anything in this Sangha, but I'm grateful that you feel like it's worthy of reaching a wider audience. How are you, dear Lisa Pope? Tattvamasi, you share, you just have to feel it. It affects mentally and you will see the difference in a few days. Your stresses aren't so stressful. I like that. Your stresses aren't so stressful. Welcome, Viv, and Aaron, and Ray, and Landon, and Melly. Strong arm and brain emoji. Hexa, you share you fast because you're poor. Well, I do hope that you are able to get some more food, and I'm not exactly one that has a lot of money myself, but if ever you are unable to have food on your plate, you know, feel free to reach out and maybe I can try to help where I can. Obviously, I'm not able to help everyone because I'm not that wealthy myself, but if there's any way that I can help with that, I will try my best. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear of your involuntary fasting. I am wondering about voluntary fasting. Obviously, when you are when you have the choice to do it, it's much better. Thank you, dear Jessica, for your half a dozen roses that you sent. It's very kind of you. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudrai. Welcome, Joseph and Mars. You are good. Cheers, Lisa. That's lovely to hear. I'm doing good too. G to Infinity, you share that a few years of celibacy, another voluntary discipline, for you has definitely helped develop self-awareness and has simplified life challenges. I imagine it has. Well, that sounds very helpful for you, and I'm happy to hear that. Yes, this body is feeling a little better, dear Zenkra. But I'm learning that healing isn't always linear. Sometimes you have days where you're feeling better and other days where you're feeling, again, a little more intense in some symptoms, and I'm accepting that. I appreciate your empathy, dear Hexakim, and your appreciation for finding kindness in another. Dear Marcy DeFay, you share that you don't value things for their transactional relationship to you as much, and instead you see the value they have to others, or even as a sovereign individual part. That's very wise. Marcy, what's your Sangha snack today? not to take awareness from your wisdom. Something tells me to ask you. It's very strange. This intuition took over me. Starlight Wow, you share that you feel sickness can bring us to a liminal space. What do you think? Oh, you are so right with that, dear Starlight Wow. Yeah. Liminal spaces seem to be a lot more relatable when you're sick, I've definitely woken up confused in the same kind of sense of being lost that you might find in a liminal space. Do you ever notice that too? If you have a fever, you wake up in the middle of your night and you're just like, who am I? What universe am I in? Was I dreaming? What's happening? It's like the subtle world just kind of bleeds into your waking more when you're sick, and you feel a little separated from the kind of reality that other people may be experiencing. That's very true. Dear Marcy, you have blueberry yogurt and vanilla wafers. Ugh. I knew there was a reason for me to ask you that. That's good. Good for your gut. Exemplifying the importance of taking care of your probiotics. Welcome, Ava. Thank you, Jessica, for your pair of finger hearts. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Iva Bandhana Mrityor Mukshiya Mamritat. Now, who remembers the name of that mantra? That's my pop quiz for you. Dark Bee, you share you had toast and jam this morning for breakfast. It sounds like a solid breakfast. Well, partially solid, partially liquid. Is jam a solid or a liquid? That's a great philosophical dilemma. I'm happy to hear that you had some good food. Just in case anyone needs to hear it, it's good that you're feeding yourself. It's good that you're eating. Dear Jessica, you share you like to watch The Man from Earth when you're sick. It's good vibes. Interesting. I've not heard of The Man from Earth besides being one myself, I guess. Well, I try to. Dear Zenkra, you share being older. You are so non-materialistic. Life is short and possessions are not what's important. I think it's really beautiful what you share. And it's so true. I think that the longer we live, the more time we get to possibly realize these things, that the true things in life are not that which comes and goes, but the meaning, the spirit, the love that pervades them, it just changes form. It's free on YouTube, shares Jessica. Good to know. Welcome, Colin. Marcy, you share jam is solid when cold. You are right. Most things are, if you get them cold enough. Except for helium, I think, if I remember correctly. that there's no temperature in which helium becomes a solid. If you get really, really cold, you can get liquid helium. But there's not a temperature for solid helium. You can get solid everything else. You can even get solid oxygen. And in case you didn't know, it's blue. It looks like blue ice. It evaporates very quickly, though. Or not evaporates, but sublimates very quickly. It's a fun fact. Every action shifts you, including food. Yeah, very true, dear Steph. Tatvamasi, you got the name of the mantra, the Mahamrityunjaya mantra. Yes, I was looking for the cucumber mantra, though. Because it's a mantra about a cucumber. But that's my name for it anyway. You're right, it is the Mahamrityunjaya mantra or the Triambakam mantra. Thank you for your follow, dear Josie. Tatvamasi, you share that some body parts need rest, and they don't get rest because of not necessity, but the mind. Mental rest is a very important part of rest in our body. Yes. Dear Billy, you ask if anyone is seeing your comment about your sister. I haven't seen it. Yeah, no, I don't think it is coming through. Maybe you could try rewording it, as I want to be able to read it. You share. Your sister is from. From. F-R-U-M. You'll have to tell me what this means. And fast several times a year for different Jewish holidays. Got that. Came through now. How interesting. Yeah, I'm familiar with the tradition of fasting in Islam, one of the Abrahamic faiths. Yeah, I'd love to know more about where fasting takes place in Jewish tradition. And whatever from is, I imagine it's related to Judaism, a kind of tradition. It's very strict Torah observant. Gotcha. Yeah, there's a lot of guidelines for living a very austere and ethical life in Torah. And in the rabbinical commentaries I hear, fasting on certain days makes sense. Do you know how that affects her? How, if you are willing to share, or if she is willing to share via you through your second-hand account? Sovereign Psychophant, you share. You have like no tan lines now, and your body is far more receptive. I like to hear that. It's interesting. No tan lines. I've never heard of that before. Besides just not being tan. I have no tan lines too. Fun fact. But that's because I haven't been in the sun in a while. Probably not the same kind. Tatvamasi, you share. You, quote unquote, try to, as much as you can, fast all day once a week, and only one meal another day of the week. And whenever you don't, you see the difference straight away, mentally and physically. That's really good to hear. I'm really interested in that, because yeah, the concept of fasting is so foreign for a lot of us in the West, in Canada, America, I imagine. You know, everyone's always talking about how breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and you should have 3 meals and make sure you got enough food. I hardly ever hear about the importance of fasting unless it's from another culture. Sovereign Psychophant, you share. Yeah, the sun gives powerful downloads and healings. I believe you. You know, the sun is more than just an energy source. Because the amount of energy on Earth at any given time is actually the same. It's not like we're gaining more and more energy from the sun, because we're also radiating that energy away into space. Which is good, otherwise the world would continue to heat up, which unfortunately is true with the nature of climate change. But in general, just as much energy we receive from the sun, we also give back into space. So if always the energy is the same on Earth, then what do we get from the sun? We get low entropy energy. We get energy that's very simple and pure and is able to be used for more and more complex things. Other kinds of energy, kinetic energy, chemical energy, electrical energy, you can't do as many things with it. You have to go through conversion processes and you end up losing some of that energy. But the light from the sun is the purest form. Bottom of the food chain, or top, depending on your perspective. Sunrise should be breakfast. I like that a lot. And I think I see a sunrise in your profile picture. Yes, Marcy. I am very pale. In reference to your sister's experience with fasting, you're not sure exactly. You think it helps her focus more on her faith. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And I'll wait till the second part of your comment comes through to be able to read the second point. I love your appreciation of the sun and the sun's light, dear sovereign sycophant. Yeah. In Sanskrit, there's a name for the time of day when the first rays of light are becoming parallel to the horizon. Not actually hitting the earth yet, but illuminating the sky. Brahma Muhurta. That's a great term, which literally means the hour of the ultimate, or the hour of God. Hello, dear happy phantom from London. I imagine it's very early where you are, or very late. Again, depending on your perspective. So either good morning, or you should get to bed and good night. It's very late. Yeah. Alright, Billy, the second part with your sister's relationship with fasting, you share, but also she sometimes gets sick because she gets health issues and dehydrated easily. Yeah, I think when there are health issues at play, there are many health issues that that can be resolved through fasting. But yeah, if you're sick in other ways, it's really good to make sure you're getting as much nutrients as you can. And I hope that there are clauses in the scripture that make room for those facts of life too. How come you're up so late, dear happy phantom? Is it because you are a phantom and you are happiest when you're in the anonymity of the night? Perhaps. Dear sovereign sycophant, you believe in sun gazing 30 minutes first and last sun gazing unlocks the ability to see into another layer of existence. Like when we are kids, we see ghosts and anomalies. It can be unlocked again. I've heard of yogic texts that describe similar things. I would recommend people explore it according to their own understanding. But of course, do take care of your eyes. Thank you for your follow, dear Light Striker. A beautiful name. Good evening, dear Cindy Berry. Hello, Ashley. And good night, dear Marcy. Welcome others that are joining. Animator, Prince Mongo, Darcy, Wyatt, Amber, Hello. Thank you for liking the live, dear Mike. It certainly helps push this space into more people's feeds, which is always a choice that, I want you to consciously make if you feel like there is value here that others could benefit from. You like the nickname Yamster, shares Billy. Some of you get very creative with your... It's almost like the opposite of creating a nickname, where instead of taking a name and making it shorter, which is where I get Yam from Liam, you take the shortened one and then you make the long version of it. Turn it from Yam to Yamathy or Yamster or Yamuel or Yamson or, I've seen a lot. Yami is cute. It is cute. Yes. Yeah. Autocorrect, hey. It's funny. Welcome, dear Elizabeth. Welcome, Angela. Share. Bread. Oh Lord, give us this day our bread, our daily bread. Bread hath arrived. That's right, Lisa. My name is Liam, but spelled with a Y, which is why it gets truncated to Liam. Or sorry, truncated to Yam from Liam. You just take the L off. How are you, dear Angela? Dear Dark, you share that you made cinnamon rolls yesterday and cooked them this morning at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock in the morning or PM? Speaking of time, my alarm is going off. Thank you for your patience as I just reset it. That tells me that I should think about ending our live stream soon. I'll go for a little bit longer because I know that I started late today. We're only actually 45 minutes into it, thereabouts. It's because I tried streaming on another platform today. 4 o'clock in the morning, shares Dark. My goodness, that's very early. Or very late, again, depending on your perspective. But cinnamon rolls are very delicious. You are well, shares Angela. I'm very happy to hear that. I'm doing well too. Oh, Sky Guardian. You're so mischievous. But it's okay. We love you for that. It's 1:30 p.m. for Starlight. Wow. What an interesting time that is for you. Yeah, you must be in a part of the world I don't expect. Yes. And forgive me for not remembering where you are. But yeah, for it to be 1:30 p.m., I'm trying to think where you would have to be. Somewhere in Asia or the Pacific, I guess. I think. Or East Europe, maybe? I don't know. Hello, dear Uru. Welcome back. Australia. That makes sense. Yes, thank you for telling me again. I love the diversity of places from which you are all from. I think it's so cool that we live in a time where we're able to connect across vast distances. You know, I never met an Australian I didn't like. Big fan of Australians. And you guys have such an amazing sense of humor. Whenever there's an Australian around, I'm always laughing. Yeah. But never feel like you're expected to meet all those expectations. You're not. Hi, dear Mia. You shared that you don't know if I remember the stream where we sent positive thoughts for your fish, Carlos. I do remember. Yes, he made a full recovery. That's awesome. I'm so happy you brought this news, dear Mia. You have brought so much joy by telling us that our positive thoughts and prayers for dear Carlos had worked. This is great news. Thank you, Mia. And I'll continue to keep Carlos in my thoughts and prayers. Dear Uru, you are from the other side of the world of New Zealand. Does that mean you are in New Zealand too, or you are on the opposite side of the world than New Zealand? Which would be, that would be like where I am, I think. Thereabouts. Opposite. Yeah. Thank you, Starlight. Wow, for the tiny that you sent. Yippee! You're in Arizona. Here's Angela, and you give a cactus and sun emoji. I love that. Thank you, Angela, for your heart. Me too. Radhe, Radhe. And dear Tan, how are you? Thank you for your heart, me. Om Namah Shivaya. So we've got someone on the opposite side of the world than New Zealand. And we've got someone pretty close to New Zealand in Australia. We can make a world sandwich together. All you have to do is get a slice of bread from your pantry and you put it on the ground at the same time as the other person, and then you've made the whole world into a sandwich. Doesn't have to be perfect, hey? I mean, some sandwiches are a bit lopsided depending on what you got in them. But this is a possibility we can do together. Or if you're feeling fancy, we can make a burger, a world burger. Trying to think of other things we can turn the world into. A lot of magma between the bread. Oh yeah, and it's so cold up in the atmosphere. It's just like a hot pocket. It's got the same thermal properties as a hot pocket. On the outside, it might be cold. When you bite into it, and it's literally magma. We could make a world kebab. That's true. Someone get a shish kebab stick on one end and just on the other side stick it in the earth. Yeah. Although it'd be best if we did it at the North and South Pole. Then we can have the whole world rotating along the axis of the shish kebab. We could make an ice cream sandwich inverse. Oh no, you're describing the world as an ice cream sandwich inverse. Yes. Yeah. Cold on the outside, hot in the middle. Thank you for sharing the live, Mia. And good evening, Strawberry Star Bunny. And hello, Ifman. If I can pronounce your name better, please let me know. It is my duty to try to become humbler and more calm, on average, every day. I'm sure I have days where I'm not as much as I was the day before, but I think we all do. Hello, Fogman and Canada Man and dear Steve. How are you feeling? Now you're hungry and want to eat the world, shares Uru. What have we done? Well, we can eat it in other ways. We can take in the nutrients of people's cultures and knowledge that they have to share, and we can absorb all of the good stuff in art and music and dance all around the world and make that the food for our hearts and minds. You are from Switzerland. That is pretty opposite of New Zealand. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. You remember I'm from Canada. You have a great memory. Thank you for the reminder, dear Billy. No one is ever expected to enjoy the live stream. I can't choose that. I can't decide if you like this space or not. But if you do, it'd be nice to like it, because that does share it with more people. But I'm happy with all of you just here if we want to keep it the way it is, you know. This audience is great. I could never ask for more. But if you feel like others could join the party, then that's something you can help with. I think that's pretty neat. Where in Canada, asks Mia. I am on the West Coast, on Vancouver Island. Dear Danny, you came here from the fight going on. You're down to just chill. Yeah. Well, this will certainly be a different atmosphere. I'm not prepared to fight anyone. I don't think I'd fare well. Dear Tatvamasi, you share that usually people want logic, but how do you go about explaining there's more to things than logic? Well, you can use logic. And that's the funny thing, is that the limitations of logic are entirely described through the language of logic. We can prove where logic can't go using our logic. Darlene, you're in Nova Scotia right now. Other side of Canada. I like that. Now we can make a Canadian sandwich, sandwiching the western and eastern sides. Oh, thank you, Kozo. That's right, Lisa. Please say more on that. Gödel's incompleteness theorems. There's two of them. Most people, if they know of it, they know the first one, but not the second, or they group them in together. The mathematician Gödel, I forget his first name, but he proved that a fully fledged system of logic, and I'll add on what fully fledged means, it's something technical, is either going to have questions which it can't answer, or questions which it has contradictory answers for. Kurt Gödel, thank you, faithful being. Greetings, Emma from Germany. And you're in Montreal, shares Mia. Oh, we've got lots of different places in the world. So that was the trade-off that Kurt Gödel discovered using logic. He used something called second-order logic to prove something about first-order logic. So if you want a fully fledged system of logic, then you're going to have to sacrifice either completeness or consistency. And completeness means you have the answers to everything. And consistency means you have only one answer, if at all, for anything. Realizing this, mathematicians in the turn of the 20th century had a choice to make. Do we want to build our maths and sciences off of something that's complete or consistent? Well, the answer is, for mathematicians and for logicians and scientists, consistency is what's important. That they feel it's okay if there are questions that they can't answer, but there'd be no point in having a system that gives you multiple contradictory answers for anything. That's just not the way of math and logic and science. Thank you for sharing the live, dear Weibo. You find that cool, Amanda? I'm happy to hear that. I think logic can be really cool, even though it can also be very dry and analytical at times. And yeah, you're absolutely right, faithful being. Math can never be complete, nor consistent at the same time. But I see where you're going with that it can't be either. Now, of course, that depends on what system of logic you're using. And that's kind of a beautiful conversation itself, that there are different systems of logic, different axioms of mathematics, depending on the context which you're working with. And so objectively speaking, there is no one system for everything. And some systems are consistent, some are complete, and some are neither. And that's where the second incompleteness theorem comes in. Okay, we've already decided we want a consistent system. Unfortunately, that has a limitation too. Gödel's second incompleteness theorem states that you'll never know if it's consistent. And that's one of the biggest pitfalls of logic, is that logic can be used to prove things, but it can never prove that its method of proving things is correct. Because that would be circular logic. You know, that's basically asking someone, how do you know you're right? And them responding, because I'm right. You can't do that. You can't say I'm right because I'm right. Well, you can say that, but it's not a good justification. But that's essentially what Gödel proved at a very high level, is that even if a logical system is consistent, you can't be certain about its consistency. Alright, Weibo asks a fascinating question. What if the world was made of other worlds combined into a world just like the world we started with? Well, that's going to take some patience to deconstruct. Sounds like a bit of a tongue twister or a riddle. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking, to be completely honest, but I do see our world as being not any one thing in particular. We live as many different beings simultaneously, and each one of us has our own version of events, our own perspective, our own understanding of what it means to have a world together. And this world that we share may have been made from many worlds that have come before, through various stars going supernova, and maybe those supernovae destroyed the solar systems. You know, we all hear that we're made of stardust. Well, that's only possible if a star went kaboom at some point in history. Maybe that kaboom wiped out another planet, and our solar system was made of the remnants of that previous solar system. But we're certainly made from past stars coming into existence. Dear Mia, you share that you think there are contradictory answers even in science. And you share that psychiatry is the ultimate science with contradictory answers. But there's nothing wrong with that. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Science is not one thing, you know. One of my biggest pet peeves is when in the news it says, you know, scientists say this. But scientists is not a catch-all for all possible scientists in the universe, you know. Some scientists have different research, and their research seems to contradict other scientists' research, and some scientists have their own beliefs and biases, etc. So I always laugh when I see those headlines. Just kind of brush past where the information is coming from, because science is not one thing, but many things to many people, and the world of academia is dynamic and evolving and full of different beliefs. Yeah, that's for sure. And psychiatry, oh my goodness. Yeah. I like how psychiatry is on the edge between science and spirituality, because on one hand it deals with objective phenomenon like the nature of our bodies and brain, but on the other hand it deals with subjective experiences like what each person makes of their own life and the meaning that they find in it. I think that's really cool. Radhe shares photoelectric effect. Speaking of science, at the Rockies, dude, welcome. I like that. Tattvamasi. So, wouldn't that suppress questions? You might have to remind me exactly what part in our conversation you asked this. But on the subject of Gödel's incompleteness theorems, the suppression of questions, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, but I believe that, yeah, I'll have to ask you what you mean by that before I make any assumptions. I want to be sure I understand. Sovereign Sycophant, you ask, how often do I eat chocolate? I'm wondering where that question has come from. I haven't eaten chocolate in a while. I got a lot of it for Halloween. I went trick-or-treating with my sister this year, even though I am 23, and she is 23 minus 8, which is 15. I know our age, relatively speaking. But I actually haven't eaten any of the chocolate. Actually, you know what? I know when the last time I ate chocolate was. I ate a chocolate muffin 2 nights ago. Yeah. Thank you, photoelectric effect. Nice to see you too. Billy, you shared that you had a psychiatrist tell you that you could see 10 different psychiatrists and get 10 different diagnoses. That is probably a really great psychiatrist then, if they're able to tell you that. It's important to have the client know of such things, but I believe that. Which is why it's so important to not give up on psychiatry if you feel like one diagnosis doesn't make sense for you. I think one of the most important questions that a psychiatrist can ask when thinking about diagnoses, and by the way, I don't have any qualifications on any of this, so this is just my personal experience. One of the best questions is, does this diagnosis make sense for you? You know, like, do you identify with that? Even if there's some resistance, of course, there's always room for coming to terms with things like that, but it's important to have a kind of label that resonates with you. Mia, you share it's about finding the right fit and someone whose thinking resonates with you. You sound very well versed on the subject, dear Mia. I'm wondering if you have an interest in psychology. You're trying to stop eating chocolate, share Sovereign Sycophant. I think for most people, your sweet tooth kind of goes with age. And it comes in waves. Sometimes you're just craving sweets, other times you're not. It can be a sign that your body needs a certain nutrient. And maybe you can get that in another way. Hello, dear Jazzman. can I tell you about what some of the mantras mean, like Om Shanti and Lokha Samasta Sukhino? Yes, I think I recognize those ones. The first one you're describing is the peace mantra. Shanti is the Sanskrit word for peace. And just by saying Shanti, you can invoke a sense of peace. I guess you can do it in English too. Peace, peace, peace. But it's nice to know that in Sanskrit, there's a kind of spiritual association with the meaning and the sound itself, and people have chanted it for thousands of years with the intention of creating peace. Traditionally, it's chanted 3 times. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. That's to invoke peace outside, inside, and in the interaction between the inside and outside. May there be peace in our environment, may there be peace in our hearts, and may there be peace in the forces that compel us. Shanti does hit harder, I agree, dear faithful being. Thank you for your follow, dear Wendy. The other one you were talking about, that is a mantra that wishes for the well-being of everyone in all the worlds. Let's see if I can find the rendition of it. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. That means may all beings in all the worlds be happy. There are other variations like may all be free of illness, may all see what is auspicious, may no one suffer, etc. They're very selfless mantras, and I love that. May you have a wonderful rest of your present moment, dear Mia. And you don't know about psychology, you're all over the place. Mostly you just make music and eat good food. But you know what? Sometimes that's all you need to do. Dear Tattvamasi, you ask, why can it not be habitual chocolate? If you're wondering if you're allowed to eat chocolate every now and then, you're absolutely allowed to eat chocolate. You know, your life is not going to end up well if you only eat chocolate and sweets. But if you never treat yourself, you'll also be very sad. Dark B, you ask, what is the best drink before bed and when anxious? I like nice warm drinks. And of course, the drink of all drinks is water. But if you heat that water up and you add some good herbs, even spices, that's great. I'll tell you, you ever make ghee tea? Probably not. Ghee tea is made by putting ghee, which is butter, clarified butter, just without the lactose and other impurities. Pure milk fat. You know, it sounds a little gross, but if you think about it, having nice liquidy butter and tea, and then what you add is pepper, ground pepper, and you add things like turmeric powder too, and ginger, and that's called ghee tea, and it's really good. That's what they drink in the Himalayas often, or they'll have variations of it in Tibet and Nepal. They'll use what's the name of that animal? forget the name of the animal that lives in those high altitude. Yak. Thank you, Tatomasi. You know. Having my Nepalese friend knows this. You can make yak butter tea. That's really common, and it's considered a kind of medicine and a traditional drink for the soul. Yeah. Savory tea is actually great though, shares Orla. It's almost like soup, kind of. Yeah, it is kind of like it, but it's like its own category. It's very interesting. It's a cross between tea and soup. It's a toop or a see, and you'll just have to see for yourself. Yeah, tea can be a wonderful thing. Chamomile is very nice, Giannis. Give it a try. Another thing, if you're not lactose intolerant, or you can just get a lactose variant, is or if you have any other dietary restrictions, some kind of milk with honey, or you can add turmeric, or both. That's a similar kind of drink, but that one's definitely more sweeter. And pepper. It's not uncommon to add pepper to milk products for health. In fact, I've heard that an age-old tradition in healing a sick cow is to feed her back her own milk, but after you add pepper to it. You might turn it into yogurt first, but then you add pepper, and then you feed that back to the cow, and it becomes healing. Can be the case. And that's actually used as a spiritual metaphor in ancient times, that even when we're sick, the stuff that we create, that we express, we just add a little spice to it, and then use that expression as our own intake for us to learn from, then it becomes healing. Even if you're spiritually sick, that is ignorant of the nature of your true self, no matter what you do, that can be turned into a remedy for yourself. Is it antibacterial? Ask Uru. It's a great question. Certainly there is probiotics in yogurt and other dairy products, and that's good for the bacterial colony in our gut. There's actually a lot of nutrients that our gut produces that we don't. For example, it's true that, you mean in the pepper? Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. You could, I trust your intuition. I feel like you thought of that for a reason. But yeah, I wanted to say that it's true that our body doesn't produce vitamin B12. And so if you look it up, can you get vitamin B12 from your own body? The answer is no. But if you look up, does the bacteria in the human gut produce vitamin B12? The answer is yes. Problem is that bacteria is so far down in the digestive system that almost none of it gets absorbed. But what I find really fascinating is that there appears to be various ancient practices that can take some of the nutrients that are produced lower in the gut and allow them to be absorbed higher. And that's why the yogis are always turning themselves upside down. That's one of the reasons. You know, the yogis say you should be upside down for at least a few seconds every day. Being upside down is important for some of the functions in our body. Uruk, you share it's a strong spice. Garlic is like that, having antibacterial properties. That makes sense. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Namaste, Azarays. Billy, you share in your wisdom that cinnamon brings one warmth. I love that observation. Tatamamasi, you have a few questions about Om. Yes, please ask them. Sorry, I think I read that you did have a question about that. Doesn't the pronunciation of Om already talk about the cyclical nature of the world? Yes. Yes, but that doesn't preclude the possibility of wishing for continued well-being, even if there are cycles of well-being that are natural as they come and go. We're also evolving, and the kinds of happiness that we are able to express is getting higher and higher. But as we get higher and higher, we become face to face with even more challenges. Like, for example, the internet brings so much room for global healing and love. And because of it, we're more connected than ever. But it also brings more challenges along the way. And so as we climb the ladder of human evolution, there are higher and higher ways of experiencing joy and connection, but more and more challenges that we have to face simultaneously. Hello, dear Danny. You had asked if I believe in starseeds. I'm not sure myself, but I know that I'm very blessed to be on Earth, and that any goodness inside me is definitely meant to come out and make the world a better place. And this body alone has been made from stardust, and our planet has been seeded from the stars that have come before. And in that ways, we can certainly vibe. Hello, dear Miss Bliss. Om Shanti. Spiritual vibes, hello. Thank you for sharing the live. Hello, Sammy. Hello, dear Lala. You share you're not okay. Well, you know what? It's okay to not be okay sometimes. And thank you for providing me an opportunity to pray and put faith that things are going to get better for you. I pray also for my ability to be there for you in whatever capacity I can, and for your ability to endure no matter what comes your way. And Orla confirms garlic being a great natural antibiotic. How neat. So Tatsumasi, continued in your curiosity of Om. Does the beginning sound, the akara, the first utterance, require an event? You can hear the Om in a bell gong, but then it requires the bell to be gonged. Yeah, that's a great question. Well, you know that there are many different ways of pronouncing Om. And I think we've had a great discussion so far on the question of the day, so I'm going to minimize it. Thank you, everyone. I'll just make some space to draw some of the pronunciations of Om. So there's kind of a trinity, and they speak to different parts of its meaning. Many people are familiar with this symbol. And if my mouse jitters, I apologize. I'll do my best. I hope you can see that up here. That's the unified symbol for Om. There are many different ways of symbolizing this sound. In Devanagari, you could also write it like this. And this will wrap back to our understanding of it being an unstruck or a struck sound. So you can render it in Devanagari like this, which looks similar, but it is distinct. And if you were to transliterate that into the Latin alphabet, you would transliterate it using the International Alphabet of Sanskrit Transliteration as O-M, but you'd probably have a dot underneath the M to tell you that it's not a labial nasal necessarily, ma, but a more general kind of nasalization. And there isn't a letter in English that represents it fully. But M is pretty close. N also works, but NG is even better. But it's kind of all of them above. Oh. A pure nasalization. And you might have seen that in recent times, we also may transliterate it as A-U-M. And that comes from breaking apart what's called the sandhi of the O into, let's see if I have the space to write this, the akara, the ukara, and the makara. But you might notice that I haven't told you how to transliterate this Om. And I've never seen it transliterated this way, but if you study the transliteration of the Chandra Bindu, which is the semicircle here, the Chandra, the moon, and the Bindu, the dot, then it's actually a single letter. And it's written with a tilde over the top. An O with a squiggle. And that is the most accurate transliteration. But most people don't transliterate it that way or pronounce it that way. They either pronounce it or spell it like Om or Aum. And there's a reason for the differences between these three different ways. Because this top Om represents unity. There's no variation in sound of this. It's purely a nasalized O. It doesn't have a beginning, and it doesn't have an end or any change throughout. It's just it's in between an O and an at the same time. But according to the cosmology of the sound, it descends into various divisions. That one becomes split into the O and the M, representing nature and consciousness. And then it goes under another division into A, U, and M, representing creation, preservation, and destruction. So creation definitely requires a beginning, and you're asking about the Ah. Ah requires a beginning. Creation requires a beginning. But in its original form, as there is no beginning and no end. It's just a timeless sound, but it goes through divisions. The nasalization separates from the O, and then the O separates into the Ah and the U, and then the Anuswara M, the nasalization, becomes an oral sound M. But the most accurate is the causeless, the unstruck sound, the sound that you hear in your heart. And that's why in Sanskrit the name for the heart chakra is Anahata, which literally means unstruck. And you're referring to the striking of the gong earlier. The unstruck sound has no beginning, no end, no variation. I hope that answers your question or invites even more curiosity. Either is great. And thank you, dear Gina, for your pair of roses and heart me's. Ariom Tat Sat. But yeah, the spelling and pronunciation of A, U, That is the spelling and pronunciation you get once the one has divided into three in the form of the three gunas: creation, preservation, destruction, waking, dream, deep sleep, physical body, mental body, spiritual body. And before that is the two sounds, O, and that represents the duality between consciousness and matter, between spirit and the universe. But even before that is just a single sound, O, with the tilde above that. That represents unified, non-dual Brahman. Alright, that was a fun adventure in phonetics and yogic cosmology all in one. Thank you, Stevie-O, who sent the rose, and hello to everyone who joined while we were discussing that. Now, dear Lala Michelle, you had some important things to share too. You were wondering how you can heal a truly broken soul. Oh dear. Your word choice is very, very beautiful. However, a soul cannot be broken, dear Lala Michelle. And I know this because it wouldn't be a soul otherwise. That's actually the definition of the soul, is the part of you that always remains whole. That's why we say that the soul is what survives when the body dies. The soul is, by definition, the part of you which stays true no matter what. So you don't need to heal any part of it because it is the one that'll heal everything else. So if you are feeling broken, it's not at the level of your highest self. It can never be. But our bodies and minds, they can be traumatized, that's for sure. But it always can be healed too. I'm sorry you don't feel like you belong here, but it's okay that you're feeling the way you are right now, and you belong here no matter what you're feeling. You're allowed to be here and sad, crushed, even. Tell me, dear, what are you going through? I promise it gets better no matter what it is. You learn and grow, and there's no other way. There's no way to, you can never be a lost soul, you can never be a broken soul. Something always goes on. And it's entirely okay to be in the situation that you are. Your soul, your spirit, your conscious awareness is the glue that holds it all together, and you don't have to be strong. Remember, you've come into this world with nothing but love, and that love is always a part of you. It is you. And you can never be without love because it is you. You can never be separate from yourself. It's okay, you've accepted it. Well, I'm glad to hear that there's some acceptance, but I want to clarify what it is you've accepted. If it's about not belonging here, then no. I can't choose your word choices, but I will not validate the idea that you're not meant to be here. So if that's a thought in your mind, throw that away. Get rid of that. No, that's not going to make things better. If you feel like you're not supposed to be here, then you need to be more patient with yourself. Because so much love and loss happens, yes. But that doesn't mean that your purpose isn't to continue to be here. Your purpose isn't found in being able to go through these things. We all go through challenges. And energy just comes and goes in different ways. You can take yourself out of this body, but you'll just come back in another one. And healing comes not from running away from life, but being brave enough to say, I'm allowed to feel this way. I'm allowed to be heartbroken. I'm allowed to feel like I'm crushed, because your feelings can't define you, but expressing them is going to really be helpful. The process of grief takes its own timeline, and the pain that you feel is the healing journey itself. Thank you for sharing blessings. I share many more back with you. No matter what we go through in life, the journey of healing is worth it, inevitable, and a painful one, all at the same time. And right now, you're probably in the thick of it. You're feeling very low, and you're not alone. I'm happy that you came here and expressed yourself. If you truly had given up, there wouldn't be reaching out and connecting the way you did. That tells me there's a part of you that absolutely continues to want to be here and find meaning in it, no matter how much you're feeling right now. And I want you to connect with that part of yourself that says, I can, I will, and I am. And that's your higher self. We might be feeling absolutely broken on almost every level, from our body to our hearts to our mind to our decisions, our identity. But I want you to keep looking for that part which is not broken. It's there. I know it's there because that's what makes us human beings. We're beings, first of all. And a being is something that transcends our humanity. Because you can be a cat being, or a horse being, or a dog being, or a plant being. It means there's something about you which goes beyond the body. It goes beyond your biology. And I know the universe gives its hardest battles to the bravest souls. And the bravest souls become the greatest healers for those around them, because they know what it's like to suffer, and therefore they learn the ins and outs of everything it means to heal and go through that experience. And you become a bright light for others. That what you're going through can be used as you continue to grieve and process as a way of connecting with the world. So I pray that during these dark times around you, that you never forget the darkness isn't you, and you are the light that's meant to fill all that. And yet there's no expectation to do so now. You don't have to fix anything at this moment. You can just be exactly as you are. And I know it sounds strange to hear, but you are whole and you are enough, even in this moment, especially in this moment, because you are experiencing such real things that I know are important for your journey and your story, and they will inspire great things from you as you continue to live, survive. Thank you for the follow, dear Brendan, and thank you for everyone who was sharing their love and openness and understanding what another is going through at this time. Megan, you ask, is there anything that I struggle with? Absolutely. Yeah. But I'm in a position where I'm helped in a lot of ways, and people around me, and by forces that could only be called divine. And I'm learning how to support and help myself in a lot of ways. But I'll tell you, there are days where I wake up and I feel like there's something I should be doing with my life different than the way I am now. Sometimes I just wake up and I'm really afraid. I get afraid with the state of the world. You know, I struggle with my body a lot, getting to sleep at time and feeling nauseous, and currently it's a little sick, you know. I get angry at the way sometimes people make judgments about me, but above all, I've learned to be committed to seeing through to the other side of it. And slowly but surely I am learning that even in those moments, I am allowed to be as I am, and there's a kind of peace that's available, even if every other part of me it's not feeling peaceful. And I'm grateful to share that journey with many of you. Yes, I believe so too, dear blessings. Thank you, Cody Jane, who sent a heart me a few minutes ago by now. Several minutes ago. Om Brahm Bhairavaya Namo Namaha. Yes, overthinking is something I can certainly relate with. You know what it's like to have fear, dear Megan. You're definitely not alone in that. And it always passes. And eventually, everything that I've learned to not let fear affect me, eventually, it's always the same lesson, just in different ways, that no matter what you fear, you should never let that fear take away from your ability to live how you want to live. And so bravery comes not when the fear goes away, but when you stand up to your own fear and go, all right, yeah, I'm a scaredy cat, but you know what? I'd rather much be a scaredy cat doing the things I love than a scaredy cat not doing the things I love because I'm a scaredy cat. Thank you for sharing the live, Lucy. Hello, dear Anazek. You made it this time. Thank you, Megan, for the hat and mustache and octet of finger hearts, hand hearts, and a heart me that you had sent. Om Namah Shivaya. And dear Alexandra, thank you for your flowers. Radhe Radhe. There's some wonderful questions being asked. I'll try to get to as many as I can. That's very understandable, dear Miss Bliss. I wish you lots of peace and serenity for your body and your relationship with it. Tatvamasi, you had asked, if I were to express Advaita, non-duality, could I ever do it without bhakti? No. And the reason why bhakti, loving devotion, is necessary in my eyes for even a non-dual understanding is because in order to understand that you are one with everything, you have to love that everything. There's almost no way to embrace your oneness with the universe if you're at odds with a part of it. And so bhakti, loving devotion, is the science of bringing love to every part of the universe in order to feel like you are a part of something that you can vibe with. but I'll always be cautious to differentiate loving devotion from mechanical worship. To me, loving devotion can happen without a single image of the divine in your household. You don't even necessarily need an Ishta Devata at the highest level, or a regular practice with a local place of worship. It's all helpful, but the greatest love and devotion is just to love and be devoted to the well-being of every sentient creature on this planet. And if any other creatures from other planets come, we serve the divinity in them too. To me, that's the essence of real bhakti. And I think you're already doing that in many ways, by being kind and patient and holding the door open for people and bringing love to your son and receiving the love from your son too, and teaching him about animals and trees and all that sort of stuff. You're honoring the divinity in everything in your own way. And as we get older, I'm sure we just learn newer and newer ways to honor that. And thank you, dear Ember. You ask if I have ever considered writing a book or narrating it. Well, I really admire the patience and dedication that people have to be book writers and narrators. Both. That requires a lot. If you see that potential within me, I hope to honor that too one day. Thank you for sharing the live, Anazek, and for your follow, dear Tammy. Now, do let me give a thanks to Doom Knight for the tiny diny earlier. Yippee! Thank you, dear Megan. That's a wonderful thing to share. I can never stop being me, you know. No matter how hard I try, the real me will always shine through. And may you never stop being you either. Thank you, Anazak, for the harmony that you had sent. Ram Ram. And thank you, TBA, for your love for me and everyone. And for your light too. And blessings. Thank you for sharing the live. Dear Robbie, you ask an interesting question. Do I think God is AI? I'm sure there's many connections we can make between this brand new field of artificial intelligence and the concept of a being that has more intelligence than any of us in particular. But no, God is NI, natural intelligence. God is the intelligence that's within all of nature. Call it NI, natural intelligence. Thank you, Tattvamasi, for your trio of fires earlier. Hari Om Tat Sat. I am keeping an eye on the time, by the way, everyone. I would like to end with a meditation in a little bit, just to let you know. But I really love all the questions that have been asked, and I'm happy to continue attending to them. But I do have to consider my bedtime. Dear Tattvamasi, you share that you don't feel you can give love. You're always trying, though. You are love. Your being is love itself. The presence that you offer is love. And let me tell you, so much of that love is received. I can tell you that from me and from many people here who recognize you and your name. You have been successful because you are love. And any way in which I can continue to be receptive of that being which you are. You are loving. Hello, dear Chris the Painter. Mm-hmm. The knights who say "ni." That's a different kind of NI. Thank you, dear Devin. I hope my voice isn't annoying. Hello, dear Gina. Another Gina here. Hello, Alcoholic Jesus. And good morning, the Chaos Pixie. So many wonderful friends. Brilliant Matter, you ask, how do you get through the next 4 years? Sounds like you're my neighbor. You must be from the country below me. I'm in Canada, but I imagine you're from America. United States of America. And remember that the true election takes place in your heart. That the real government is not what's outside, but inside each one of us. And each one of us are able to vote on who gets to rule our heart, not every 4 years, not even every 4 seconds, but in every instant. And the two candidates of your heart are love and fear. So what president do you want to run your heart? President Love? President Fear? These two candidates are always going to be up there, and you get to make that choice in each moment. And the more people get to experience all the executive orders given by President Love in your heart, I'm sure they'll begin to vote for the same within their hearts too. Change always happens from within. I like your connection between divinity and consciousness, dear Uru. Thank you, Jason. But that's not going to happen overnight. Letting go of fear is not a process that is going to be solved by anything I say. But it's something we can continually remind ourselves. Yeah. And I love your spirit of wishing for higher awareness and for people to come together. And remember that it's not your duty to be alert for the existence of that in the world outside of yourself, but just exemplify that yourself and you're fulfilling your highest duty. When I think back on all of the most inspiring changes in my life, it's always come from seeing someone live successfully, happily, joyfully, and then I ask myself, what can I do to make myself like that too? That nobody ever had to tell me that I should live like this or live like that. There's a natural intelligence in everyone that if we see someone happy and we're curious about that, then we begin to ask, how can I relate with something they're doing in order to create that possibility for this life too? So never underestimate your own ability to make a difference just by exemplifying what you want to see in the world. And the best part is, so much of that is effortless. Thank you for your follow, Adam. Now, Adam, you ask, how do you adjust to those who believe they are in a more powerful role than us? Well, they can believe that they are, but as long as we know that they're not, then, you know? Our our role is never one that's inferior or superior to another. We all have an equal part to play. We all share the resources of this world. But you know what? I hope to empower the people around me in their roles. As long as I can see something in them that's powerful, then I can learn from them. Even if it's a kind of person that I don't particularly like. At least I can respect their admiration, or their determination, or their ability to persevere. Even if they're using those things in not a particularly helpful way for the whole, still, we can see that's something I can learn from. It's a difficult question to answer about the nature of government, because I come from a place that might be very different from you. I'm very privileged to live where I do, and there's always something worth fighting for nonetheless. But no matter where you are in the world, I truly believe that all the goodness that is necessary to be acted comes from the people. Everything to be done, all the great change in the world happened at the level of the populace. And that includes you. And your responsibility is not to ensure that anyone else acts accordingly, but just that you make the world a little better yourself. Because as long as we are focused on the way that other people are believing or acting, then we'll never be happy. And we need that happiness in order to make the world a better place. And so that happiness must start from looking within. What are the problems that we can solve? Even if it's small, what's the difference I can make? Because what's outside of our control, we have to leave that in the hands of the universe. And we can only inspire so much. As we were talking previously, some of the greatest change is inspired just by doing your best. And if you inspire that in others, that's wonderful and probably natural and inevitable too. But yeah, the quality of your life truly is dependent on your ability to make the most out of it. Because there are going to be times in which the situation is out of our control, and we can either suffer in disbelief that anything can change, or we can try our best to see that it's not the problem for us to solve for the world being in the state that it is as its whole. That the world does have its problems and we have an ability to change it. But your happiness is not dependent on the world changing before you do. We have to change ourselves for the world to change, because the world is made up of people just like us. And the only way we can make that change happen is to start with the part of the world that we do have control over, and that's our perspective. The highest free will is what we choose to see, and I choose to see what's made possible just by people like you and me, and I don't give any attention to the negativity, because I know that I'm not going to be in an echo chamber just by going away from all of that drama. Actually, goodness exists in the opportunity to help, and they should be running stories on all the opportunities for help that you don't have to listen to all of the terrible atrocities to feel like you can be of help, because help is always available through you and the people around you. We just have to bring our attention there. Thank you, dear MJ, for the hand heart you had sent. Om Namah Shivaya. And dear Anazak, thank you for your friendship necklace. Hare Krishna. And dear Katya Diaz, thank you for your pair of roses. Jaya Sitaram. I want you to take this world sincerely, but not seriously, because you are not of this world. You are part of the divine. And if you really think about it, you can relax so much, because it means that nothing that happens to you changes your divinity. And maybe the reason the world exists the way it does is not because there's been a mistake made along the way and that we have to fix it, but because our infinite divinity is so wonderful that it has to have a reason to express love and healing and grace and help, and the world just does that. That the reason that there's so many things to help with in the world is for our benefit. For example, God is within all things. That means God is within the homeless person that you gave $20 to. But not because God needed your $20, but because you need to give in order for you to be fulfilling your purpose and be established in your nature, which is a giver, a helper, a healer, the one that looks for those whom have possibility to manifest. And that's the darkness, as a space for your light to shine. I'm not a follower of any religion, but I'm a follower of truth, and truth exists within all religions. Thank you, dear brilliant matter, for your heart meet. Om Namah Shivaya. My religion is my humanity. My prayer is my breath. My consciousness, my divinity. Dear PK, you ask how to make decisions and not to leave on fate. You are crippled with that. You are not responsible for making good decisions. You are responsible for making decisions good. Do you see the difference? There is no wrong answer or a right answer, but there's a way of making an answer right or wrong. It's not what you do in life, it's how you do it. Your happiness is not locked behind a certain choice in your life. Your happiness is found through making each choice an expression of your principles and values. And that includes your ability to go back and make another decision if you feel that is right. Life isn't some test that you have to pass all these exams in order to be happy. Your happiness is available now as long as you're willing to remain humble when you do good and take accountability when you could have done more good. And that's something you can do right now. No matter the life you've lived up to this point, no matter what destiny you think is before you, this moment, you are enough. And such beautiful words, dear Billy. There is truth to the label of omnist, dear Adam, but I don't attach myself to any label in particular. It's not like I wake up in the morning and go, I'm an omnist. Just naturally, I try to find what's true within everything around me, as that's an ability within my heart. I think it's something we all share, that we have the choice to look for truth in everything. And I want to live surrounded by truth, so I strive to look for what's true. No matter how big or small, common or rare, traditional or not. And yes, of course, there are higher beings and spiritual places, and they all exist simultaneously with the beings here and the places we have here. All of it is accessible in this moment. You don't have to go far at all. And thank you for your understanding. I love the way you said that, Loopy Lane. It's not about what happens to us, but how we respond to it. Thank you, dear Derek. Now, I'm really grateful for this space, but it is getting late for me. I'll be back tomorrow. You know, unless anything else happens in my life. But I do want to end the live with a kind of relaxing meditative practice. So if you're interested in coming down from the subjects we've been exploring to a little meditation, I think that would be a nice way of ending our live stream today. But thank you all for coming here. I hope I've been a reasonable host, and I look forward to being a better one next time. Dear Adam, you share a Fuqara is similar to a shaman, and you come from a long family line of them. That's very interesting. I'd love to learn more about your tradition. So I'm going to transition now to our Nididhyasana. Yes, that's right, dear Derek. Beautiful British Columbia. And what's beautiful about it is the British have left. Just kidding. Thank you, Dob Darker, for the heart me that you had sent. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. And thank you, dear Feline the cat, for your heart me and finger heart and quartet of roses. You're sending other things at the same time. Thanking you. Appreciate it. Om Brahm Bhairavaya Namo Namaha. And dear Tatvamasi, thank you for your heart me. GG Cloud Bread, TikTok and ice cream. Very sweet of you. Om Ganganapataye Namaha. And brilliant matter, thank you for your septet of roses. Radhe, Radhe. And dear Anna, thank you for your heart me. Om Hrim Namah Shivaya. No offense to any British. No, it's not that British Columbia is beautiful without the British. It's without the British colonialism. Yes, and I'm very grateful that there are not many of those kinds of Brits anymore. Or I shouldn't say that's a kind of Brit. No person is inherently colonial, I believe. It's a kind of limited worldview that may afflict some, but Yes, I'm very grateful to have many people here from all over the world, from British Columbia, like where I live, to the land of the British themselves, and in and around the United Kingdom. All right, so thank you, dear Anna, for the heart me you sent. Jaya Satchitanandam. And dear Anazek, thank you for your heart me. Hari Om Tat Sat. And thank you, Feline the cat, for your rose and finger heart. Om Namah Shivaya. I would like to end this live with a meditation, so I may pause Q&A here for now. But if there's anything I can attend to next time, I'd be happy to. And if you ever want to connect on Instagram, WhatsApp, Telegram, I have my inboxes open there. I don't have my inboxes open on this platform, on TikTok, because that's to distinguish me from scammers, unfortunately, that are using my likeness, and you might be contacted by them while in this live. They can follow you. I don't follow anyone back or message anyone here. That's a safety mechanism to know that, to distinguish me from those scammers, just to let you know. But yes, I am be happy to hear any questions or anything you have to share in my inboxes on other platforms. I try to go through my messages once a day, and usually after I'm live streaming too. Thank you for sharing about your beliefs, dear Adam. That's very interesting. I appreciate that. So for our meditation tonight, and let me put it up. Tonight I thought that we'd simply do affirmations, that I would come up with them, and you, if you're open to it, would receive them. And don't imagine that they're coming from me personally. I don't want you to feel like there's any necessity for these affirmations to come from me in particular. You can imagine that it's coming from you. If you agree with it, you can hear the words come in through your ears. And if you feel like this is something you'd like to receive from your higher self or from the universe or whatever, then you can affirm that within yourself. For me, affirmations are important because they allow us to dissolve our negative ideations, vices, insecurities, fears. I truly believe that the highest truths are always affirmative, that the truth shall set you free. And so I'd like to go over some truths that I believe are really important for us to affirm within ourselves. And you can stay for as long as you like. We'll start with our breath. I affirm that I am grateful for my breath. That this breath is a part of me and a part of the world, and as such it is my binding link. I breathe in positivity, and I breathe out negativity. In the same way, I breathe in the negativity of the world to transform it, and I breathe out positivity in order to give back to the world. I am capable of making a difference. I have the ability to understand the problems in my world, the worlds of those around me, and helping where I can. I'm in the right place to be able to do so. At this moment, I am love. I am a place of peace, harmony, that I can confide in another's experience. Some part of me that's a part of them too. I share that with the universe. I am the universe, awake to itself, in wonder of myself. I am really small as part of something really big, and every part of that whole is necessary, including myself. And I am really big and made up of many small things, and each of the small things in my life are important for me to be as I am too. I value kindness, honesty, compassion. I have the ability to listen to others and relate. I am valid in what I'm going through, as I am able to validate others by having a common experience. Even these challenges set me free, because through them I become stronger and wiser, more determined than ever before to succeed. I am capable of admitting my wrongdoings. I look for humble people. I see the good in others as they reflect that possibility in myself. If I want, I can make this world a better place just by being present with it. I don't have to solve all the world's problems in order to be me. And just by being me, I can help make a world that has less problems. I know what it's like to be sad. And I can empathize with other people's sadness and feel like they're allowed to be as they are, just as I know I am allowed to be sad sometimes too. I am a part of an evolution, and things are changing, and sometimes that scares me, but I'm brave, and I'm willing to be a part of that change and bring out all the things that I see. I have the capacity to forgive and set boundaries at the same time. I can be open to goodness and see the limitations of negativity. My mental health is important to me, and I'm continuing to get better in some way every day. Even if it doesn't feel like it, I know that it's okay to be who I am. want others to feel like it's okay to be who they are too. I accept the changing nature of the world, and I'm learning that all things come to pass. I affirm that this body was given to me by Mother Earth with good intentions, and that it's up to me to manifest what she wishes for me, to make a world which was better than the way I found it. I am capable of ending the cycle of generational trauma. I am open-minded and look forward to new perspectives that may change my worldview. I am allowed to rest when I'm unable to help out. And I'm able to value and recognize when other people are helping, even though they could be resting. I vow to see how hard everyone else is trying to do their best, and not be so quick to judge, but try to see where they're coming from. I allow myself to be a mess sometimes. Everything good happens one step at a time. It's okay for me to have days where I feel like I'm not productive. Rest can be very productive. And I won't be discouraged by all the pain in the world, even though I empathize. I want to be inspired to bring more smiles and laughters. And I want to continue working on my own peace to be able to help others find their peace too. I recognize that my enlightenment depends on the enlightenment of everyone around me. And therefore, to search for freedom within myself, I must be a part of the force of freedom for everyone else. Whatever I'm going through, I wish to relate with those around me. When I'm sad, may I think about all those who are sad and that I'm not alone, and affirm that they're not alone. And when I'm happy, may I think of all those who wish to share my happiness. May I recognize the privileges for which I have, and strive for a world where others have the same privilege that I do. May I not waste any time on the wonderful things that I'm able to do, and forgive myself for the things that aren't a waste of time, but are also important for my life. May I recognize my creativity and logic as one. May I not be afraid to be able to sing, share my voice. And may I live, not not to serve this body and mind, but to serve all bodies and minds as a part of my greater self. And may we pray for a world in which everyone has equal opportunity to discover their happiness, to live in health and prosperity, and see the divinity within all things. Amen. And that'll conclude our affirmation meditation. Thank you for being a part of it, everyone. And with that, we'll end our live stream momentarily. I'm very grateful that so many participated in that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Hybrid Jen, for your pair of roses and perfume. Om Bhram Hanumate Namaha. And dear Ashley, thank you for the heart me you had sent. Thank you, dear Gina, for your pair of roses. And Anazek, thank you for your dozen of them. Never expected, always appreciated. Radhe. If you found this meditation helpful, and if you liked the reading and wanted to listen to more parts of this, those clips are uploaded on my Yamsox Lives YouTube channel for free. And may you benefit from that if you want to use that. And also the whole live stream is uploaded to YouTube without any ads. And I pay for a service that chapters it down to the minute. So if there's any part of this live stream that you wanted to watch, in particular certain themes that you enjoy, you don't have to mindlessly scroll through it until you find the parts that you like. In the description there's chapters and timestamps. It was a bit of a long night as we did another live stream on another platform, and that was fun. I like the idea of doing multiple live streams on multiple platforms. Might do the same thing again tomorrow, we'll find out. But yes, I have to take care of this body and mind, and that means getting some food in my tummy and some rest, and I have to upload this live stream, of course, before I go to bed. I'm happy you find the recordings valuable, dear Miss Bliss. Thank you for coming, everyone, even if it's just in the last few moments. And I appreciate all the positivity that was shared, especially amongst each other. That's really great to see. And my lovely moderators, thank you for helping keep the peace. And I think we had a really successful live stream today in that there wasn't a lot of moderation necessary. You still have to upload last night's live to G to Infinity, that's true. So good night, everyone. May you have a wonderful rest of your present moment, whatever time it is for you. May this live stream be an offering to the divinity within you. I'll try again to be live for 5 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. But that might involve going live for a little bit on another platform before coming to TikTok, because I'm just trying to experiment with the various places we can host these. But unless something happens, I will be back tomorrow. Around then. Asatoma Sadgamaya tamasoma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. That means, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to deathlessness. May there be peace in our environment, peace in our hearts, and peace in the forces that compel us. Have a wonderful rest of your present moment, everyone, and take care of those in your life. Give them lots of love and give your body and mind the care that it needs to. Thank you. Bye-bye.